Okay, welcome to this broadcast. Paul Webster here in beautiful Brooks, Alberta, sitting alongside Pete Beleski. We're here in the A semifinal. Kevin Cooey from Calgary, Alberta, versus Rob Fowler from Brandon, Manitoba, in this pivotal game in the A side here. Pete, welcome.
Good to be here, Paul. Good to be here. We're just catching up a little late here. Start of the first end. There's already been apparently more shots made in this first end than there were the first three ends of our last broadcast.
Yeah, last broadcast we did between Team Murdoch and Team Pierce, and there's definitely some struggles with the ice, both speed and figuring out where it curls and where it doesn't curl. So it's refreshing to see these boys going hard right off the start.
It's also refreshing to see Carter Rycroft wearing clothes again after that photo from the men's calendar shoot.
Slightly disturbing, as it's been described by most that have seen it. Now that's mainly a male contingent. The females are they look at it slightly concerned, but then smile afterwards.
Now you're fairly close to this team, Paul. I know you work with them a lot in Calgary. How sore did Nolan's back and arms get having to hold his hands cupping Carter for that entire photo shoot?
You know, I wasn't there for the photo shoot to see Carter in his birthday suit, yeah. So for those of you at home don't know, they've come out with the Men of Curling calendar. So 12 of our top players from around the world get half the proceeds, and they've all agreed to donate it
and
to
Paul Fleming.
So 11 of our have agreed to donate the proceeds to their designated charity, and they're, from what we've heard, they're selling like hotcakes. So draw the button in the pre-game practice goes to Fowler, so they win the hammer. Teams elected to let their third shoot for the hammer. I think they're just getting ready for the pre-trials and trials coming out. So Kevin Cooey here, looking to manufacture some sort of steal if he can. Cooey throwing red rocks in this game.
Gotta say, I'm loving the purple jackets that Team Cooey is sporting. For those of you who know, I'm XL Purple Sweater on Twitter. I've got a very fondness for purple.
Yeah, Cooey getting apparel this year from Runback Apparel, a new company on the scene. I think headed up by Mark Keane, actually one of our pre-trial skips out of Ontario.
Big shot here for Carter. Good opportunity to put a lot of pressure on Fowler in the first end here.
(2002) Olympic silver medalist Carter Rycroft.
Off. Right off.
Looking for the thin double here.
No.
Wow. There's our first F-bomb of the game.
Bro.
Kevin Cooey taking a page from David Murdoch's book, and
Sorry, Carter.
again, just a apology ahead of time to those at home. These guys are used to wearing mics. However, without the TV cameras on the ice, I would say sometimes, but last game it seemed like all the time.
I think it was quite frequent, yeah.
It was every other sentence. They sometimes forget that they have the mics on. So our apologies ahead of time. We have no tape delay, but they are mic'd for our enjoyment, and we promise that I won't swear. I can't promise about Pete Beleski here.
I can promise I will not swear. I cannot promise that I will not be completely offside throughout the broadcast.
It was put very well on social media by Jerry Gertz of Curling Zone. I would be the politically correct one, and Pete the politically incorrect one.
Or the one who tells the truth. That's how I like to see it. Just got our first text, Reed Carruthers. You're pretty wild too, Reed. Good shot there. A little trouble now for Kevin. A little frustrated about the situation.
First one must have come down too.
So again, Fowler yellow rocks with hammer in this end. We got third rocks coming up. Pat Simmons looking to clean something up here. Pat, a long-time skip out of Saskatchewan, decided about 3 years ago to move over to the dark side and join the Alberta contingent out of Calgary. So they're trying to make a run solely designed for Sochi in 2014, and have successfully got themselves into the trials in Winnipeg coming up here in December.
I was talking to Pat before the game. He'd like to give Ben Hebert credit for teaching him most everything he knows about the game.
Off.
Great shot by Pat. They're looking for a little bit of roll if they could have manufactured there, but we saw today a little concern over the teams playing in our first draw online. that the ice was running a little straighter with weight, and it took them a while to figure that out. So we'll see fast. We will see it very weight sensitive today. So the shots that you're going to see made are going to be bringing both those sweepers in for that last 20-25 feet and finishing it. However, if it's a pure draw all by itself with someone we didn't see that extra last 6 to 12 inches of curl today.
Now the teams this afternoon, they struggled quite a bit, especially with the upweight shots. They're just taking way too much ice. This one seems to be running. He sort of popped it out. Just enough curl though. Ends up being a good shot.
Really fortunate for him there, actually.
Yeah, he got by that by a whisker. Now these staggered guards are really causing a problem for Kevin because it takes away there's 2 red stones there, but he can't utilize either one.
Good board.
That's compared to their bad board.
Yeah, I was always very good at throwing bad board.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. I
know?
had to sweep a few of those.
Bad board for me could be anything from T-line to peel.
In board weight, they're trying to make sure they're not overthrowing this so they get a little bit of finish at the end.
Little rain delay in the hack here from Pat.
Sergio Garcia-like. Pat Simmons with his last here in the first end.
Real hard.
Judging by the line call, he's sort of got this one going a little bit.
Hard, guys. Oh, this is disaster.
Wow.
No weight.
We mentioned that
T-line.
Pat would like to give Benny credit for where he is in curling today, and I think he just threw an intern similar to what Benny might have chalked down the ice there. What do you think about that, Paul?
Yes. Yeah, you know what Cooey was concerned about there was just the weight that ended up. He was looking for a board weight plus a couple feet, and it was probably back line if that. So that's where the curl came out of. And
I think he threw the bad board there.
to their yeah, we called bad board. To their credit, it was a pretty good miss getting moving those guards that were overlapped. And so it's fortunate you got one of the best hitters in the game, and Kevin Cooey coming up behind you, and Fowler's going to have to be careful where he leaves this, or Kevin's going to have some sort of raised double.
Yeah, that's one shot you definitely don't want to ever leave Kevin. He's probably the best in the game today at the run back.
Nice to spread them apart right now. There's no good place right now to prevent some kind of double or triple. If you could throw that same and throw it line thing and move them around, get that one back and get in behind. I guess you might leave them a double up the middle that way.
Did you ever consider here, Paul, a wide intern split there to live 4? I mean, no matter where you go, you're going to leave Kevin some form of double.
I like it, actually.
Any benefit to loading up a fourth rock?
Yeah, and I
rings?
think that's, I mean, that leaves us lying for, and it might also look after the concern of the double. And that's what Rob's talking about now, is possibly moving those around, so coming into there and jiggling around, knowing there's going to be some sort of run back. The only run back Kevin would have right now is that one on the top left of your screen at home, and it doesn't leave a good angle to guard it at the end.
See if we can listen in
Let's go
here.
the other turn and try and nose it. I think like maybe this other turn, maybe get in there and just move these around a little bit. Just
they're choosing to play a very vague, unexplained, spread the rocks around, which quite often leaves a triple.
Nice thing is they just saw Pat come down with sort of the weight that they'd be looking for here, so he gave him a good look at what the ice should do. Just a backline weight tap here for Alan Lyburn.
Alan, one of the great guys in curling.
Following the same path that Pat came down, this one looking like it's over curling as well.
Keep going. Hard. Whoa.
Great brushing by the boys to get it by.
Good.
I think I just noticed that we're featuring some black pants, black shoes, white socks out there. Don't think you'd see that in the curling calendar.
you're just a
No
little
socks at
soft.
all, actually, in the curling calendar, let alone pants.
Actually, I think Benny was wearing a sock.
Like halfway, you
Not
might
much
back the,
else.
red, eh?
I don't know if he was wearing it, but he's definitely
Jack was a
using
whole
one.
way
Yes.
good.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
So Kevin just looking at that top one to make sure it's not a biter.
one's in?
We don't have an overhead camera at the far end, so we can't show you that. Or we do actually right here. Sorry about that. So and our sign is just over top of that rock, so we'll take his word on it. So Q, you're going to see something out of here that's probably big weight. There's going to be a double either coming the intern or just that raise slash
I make
into it.
this, I'm rolling too far, I think. Like, I need weight to kill this and then maybe hang on.
Not the best situation to be left in
Only
the
other
first
thing I-
end, that's for sure.
I can drill that into there and sit there and catch this. What do you like?
Carter tends to come down quite a bit in Len's strategy. He's got a lot of experience. He started off his
Yeah, I
men's
know,
career
but
curling
it's
with
not
Randy
that hard.
Furby very briefly with David Netowin, and then moved over and had a ton of success with Kevin Martin before joining Cooey's team.
I think it's more important to stick behind those guards, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. Seen Brendan there, so that would have been a good read.
Roll right out.
What I like about Carter, I think he's always well timed, and when he
Makes a
comes
good one
down,
here.
he's just not
More
coming down
skill.
for just for shits and giggles to get down there and get his 2 cents in. And he recognizes
Oh, we don't
the
even
key
know if that's
situation that he had a hand in too, but also he's got one of the best hitters in the game, so a little bit of insight on angles and so on from his days with Kevin Martin, and to try to make something here. So they're only maybe giving up 2.
Yeah, I think if they could settle right now and offer up a deuce, they would be more than happy to get out of here with that.
I'll play
Especially
with
if that
weight,
top
it
one's
comes
on.
up when you make this, like down normal.
So these are the shots we saw both teams struggle with in our 11:30 draw. Those sort of mid-weight shots, and if the normal weight, we saw it run straighter a lot of times. So we'll see if Kevin can get a little bit of curl out of here.
Harder from here. Down normal.
Kevin's about the most confident guy I've seen out there on tour right now. He's not really fazed by any situation.
Probably a 9.5 second rock here from Kevin.
Clean.
Looking for the double, but also needs a little bit of finish here.
Yep. Yes. Whoa. Off.
Needs
Off.
to just skinny that top red one a little bit tight.
Sit.
Hard Allen, right out. Right
Just didn't get the finish that he was
out.
looking
Keep
for.
going, keep going.
And luckily spun back in, taking that top yellow one out of play at the moment.
Yeah, if you're going to
Same
talk
thing as
time,
yours now?
9.5 seconds, I prefer you round it to 6 decimal places.
I have no idea what you're referring to, Pete, so if you can elaborate for the people
Just
at home.
pure
and-
accuracy,
yeah.
you know. I go by the Kelly
You
Scott
don't want to come
formula.
in and move them, I don't think, eh?
9.62724 is
Right
what
here?
that shot required. And that's why he rolled as far as he did. He was off by about 17 one-thousandths of a second by my calculations. Paul's just going to take a little break
Either
right
way, yeah. Over here, you can, and I got a hard way to get in here. If I get in over here, it's
So
probably
Rob
better.
recognizing
Because
the,
that's a jam,
the
right?
player he is playing against, but I mean any of the top 5-10 skips have that hitting ability these days. Kevin just makes that 1-2%
here,
more it
pretty
seems
good.
on a regular basis with the big weight. So he's just worried about where to put this rock,
that
not to
out?
leave a triple. I think he recognizes
that's
he's got
true,
a
right?
good chance at scoring 2 here, and just wants to make sure he parlays that into a
I'm just
2-point
throwing raw
score.
weight, right? So I had you in a little tighter, but
So we're going to lob another one down in here, I think, and jostles him around. He's got to really be careful not to set up better angles for Kevin.
He's going to make sure he certainly crosses the face of the rock that's just touching the center line. That should prevent any triple from being made.
what do you think, guys?
Rob, he used to play with Team Stout. Did he ever play third for Jeff?
So
Well, I
those
think
draws
he
to the
spent
button,
his
is that
whole
gonna hit
career
the
there
top
at
12?
second with
With Johnny and
Johnny Meade playing third, and then who came over first?
Or not
Kevin
quite.
Park. came over for a
Yeah.
stint there with that team. And then after the last trials runs, he decided to go out on his own, and has had really good success with this team. Brendan Taylor coming over this year, filling in at a second position for Team Fowler.
5-6. Close for line. 6. Yep, for line.
Looks like they're just drawing it in there if they're saying a 5-6. Derek Samagoski and Brendan Taylor on the sweep here.
Oh, Derek!
Oof, that was millimeters away from
We
being
heard the
pretty
eight, we
brutal.
said to
Sure
go.
it is. If we get out of this with giving up 2, that's
Had to get it by.
Kevin might have a chance with a real heater here to make a double and maybe come a little bit off the back of that and make the shot for 2 more difficult.
this one's better than that. But isn't that there?
There we go.
Where's that yellow going? Is it missing that red? Make sure of the 5.
So they're going to go for the gimme double on our left-hand side of the screen, and then Kevin's going to throw it hard enough that they can get any action off the top of that. They're going to try to get the triple with the yellow going out the side.
This is a spot we saw earlier that it runs dead straight here. If anything, certainly not negative, but the boys can hold it exactly where he lets it go. So I really don't see him missing this one tight.
They're kind of letting up in the sweep, though, because it was an 8.
In-turn heat here for Kevin Cooey with his last rock in the first end.
I think he's going with the outturn.
Going with the outturn because it is dead straight.
Whoa.
Right off.
Off. Roll it, Carter. Carter, roll it. Roll it.
So Carter is always enjoyable watching the high heat because he does sweep with the slider. So a lot of times he can't slow himself down.
Yeah, I ran into that problem last year in Victoria where I fell multiple times.
So that ran just the way Pete was describing there, just overly straight. And you saw Kevin with that really positive release. It just kept fading and didn't get any little bit of finish there, even in the last couple feet. So they're hoping to get some action on that yellow in the house, but it's going to be fairly routine shot here for Rob Fowler. Last rock in the first end. Fowler looking to take a 2-0 lead going into the rest of the game here.
Yeah, the way this game was, the end was played early by Team Cooey. You always knew that Rob was going to have a pretty good chance to score multiple points.
Easy.
So
Clean.
Taylor
Clean
making
it.
it just up a little bit. Should be fairly routine. And great shot by Rob Fowler. So 2-0 Fowler over Cooey after the first end. Cooey getting hammered, trying to get back into the game here and get a few points on the board. A lot of shots made that end, Pete.
Yeah, it was a good start to the game for Fowler for sure. I mean, Cooey's a team you do not want to get behind. Typically, they get a 2-point lead, 3-point lead, the game's over. So to grab hammer to start and then capitalize by scoring your deuce puts them in a good position. I'd like to see. It's always fun to watch Kevin and his team when they're trailing because they can get so aggressive and use all the tools that they have. So I think we're in for a far more entertaining game having Fowler grab an early deuce here than the opposite.
I agree with you. It's you can just see their minds working. Pat and Kevin both top skips in the game, and Pat was skipping as well. But Carter can also get in there and work with the angle. So it's Nolan knows his place and sort of hangs out. And
yeah, I find Nolan doesn't really add very much to the team whatsoever. I know he tweets for the team and he writes their blog. I think that's why they keep him on the squad. Die-hard Red Sox fan, Nolan. He's very happy with his team right now. Got to give him credit. We had him on a broadcast first week of September, and he made the prediction back then that the Red Sox would play the Cardinals in the World Series. Prediction has come true, and he's also picked the Red Sox to win in 6 games, and believe me, if that happens, we'll be hearing about it on Twitter.
Nolan, a former college baseball player, actually had a phenomenal opportunity back in April in Toronto. Got to throw the opening pitch for a Blue Jays game. Through the hard heat,
He did. If he threw it any higher, he would have missed the backstop.
Almost took out a grandmother behind home plate. Slightly concerning. They almost had to switch the anthem singers because Nolan's erratic pitching.
He looked like Tim Robbins in Bull Durham when he had to throw it at the mascot. A little high and wide.
So a great start by the Leads here. Pretty typical end you'll see from these two top teams.
No mistakes, though. They kept the rock in front of the tee line here with the opening stone. Nice corner by Nolan. We saw last game how little tiny mistakes by the lead can really cause problems later on in the end. So,
looking to come into the house again. Derek Samagoski with his second.
Just got a text from Reed saying Derek needs to qualify A-side, maybe make the semis in order to pay off all the golf bets he lost to Reed this year. I played with Reed on the course this year. I think we scored him at around 93. Derek must be a really bad golfer if he lost money to Reed.
I believe Derek actually just started playing the game this year.
Sounds about right.
Nolan Thiessen with his second. Looking to come into the house and make a play on these ones that Derek just put in there.
You got what? What? Hard then. Hard, go, hit it.
Fowler with a 2-0 lead, looking to get rid of the corner guard. Getting rid of the guards, Pete, key decision in this end?
Yeah, I don't think you want to give Curry too many opportunities with rocks out front. It's very hard at this level to score multiple point ends just playing in the rings with teams' ability to hit and smash rocks around. So I think that getting rid of the guard is definitely the right play there. Kevin will throw up a couple more guards, and then eventually he's going to have to choose how he attacks the situation in the rings.
May look like the Minnesota Vikings out there, but it's actually Team Cooey out of Calgary, Alberta.
Yeah, I hope they play better than Minnesota. Man, are those guys bad.
They may rethink their colors, yeah. Playing out of the Glencoe Club in Calgary.
I was actually at Glencoe yesterday, Paul. It's a beautiful facility. That's where you work.
Yeah, they've done a phenomenal job in the history of the club of creating a unique sports facility within Calgary, and we're lucky to be able to train out of there. We have 30 of Calgary's top sort of curling athletes, young and old, and we've got a few of our teams like Cooey and my wife's team, Crystal Webster, Cheryl Bernard, Team Clybrink, and so on, getting ready for the pre-trials or trials coming up here in less than a couple weeks with the pre-trials and about a month for the trials.
Yeah, Ben Hebert, he picked me up at the airport yesterday, brought me over there. He's dropping off some of the calendars for charity. Again, we'll mention the calendar. Please purchase one. I bought one. More to laugh at and feel better about myself viewing the photos. But $20, all the money goes to charity. Great job done by the 12 guys. They're selling, I think they've already sold out the 30 they brought here. They're going to bring over another 60, I think, tonight. And the great thing about curlers is, unlike other sports, you don't have access to them here. Ladies pick up a calendar and track down Benny or Dave or Adine, Thomas. They're all in the Bonspiel, and they'd be more than willing to sign your calendar for you.
It's a pretty cool experience for the guys. They first time done it, and I talked to John Morris about it, and they've been talking about it for a few years, and then sort of they got the right mix of guys, as he said, a lot of the characters in the sport, but a lot of the the unique people, but also the ones the ladies would like to see too. And I think it's caught everyone by surprise of how successful it's been in the week or two that it's been out there.
So Kevin's decided now to give up on the corner guard, and he's going to try to make a play in the rings. Odds are we're looking at, even though there's 3 rocks in play, this end very well could end up blanked.
Yep. Where are you? Wait only. Wait only. Wait only. Whoa, wait. I'm saying wait only.
Saw this numerous times in our first broadcast where things would run a little straighter.
Hey.
Great weight by Pat, but even that little tap makes it a little bit easier for Fowler. They're looking for a perfect freeze there if they could have.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to actually throw the shot now and jam. He's guaranteed to get one of the two reds out there. Obviously, he's hoping to get both.
So those new to the broadcast, we only have the skips mic, so you won't hear too much from the thirds or sweepers unless they're close to the skip.
In the last game, we actually heard a little too much out of the skips for those viewers at home.
Okay.
A little lucky break there for Kevin. He's now got a chance to maybe hit and roll and split the rings and tie this game up.
That's a slight mistake they're looking
Roll
for
a foot.
by going in and
trying to
got a
make
little
it the
lucky
other
for that
way,
one.
Board.
Again, another
Good
example
board.
of bigger weight running straight that we saw from this morning, but we've also seen a couple times in
out
this
of it,
game. And a great opportunity for third Pat Simmons with his last rock of this end to set up the junior deuce and
Bag
split
it
the
and
rings.
it doesn't make it and puts it way out there. It's worse.
This is how we won our OUAA gold
Jam in the
medal.
middle
Eh?
wasn't bad.
Playing teams just bad enough. We split the rings. They'd fan a couple.
5-0 and go. That's all we need to do, make every other shot.
Whoa. Clean.
Looking for a little roll
No,
to
no,
our
no,
right-hand
off.
side of the screen if they can.
Clean. Get off.
Not going to get the finish on this one. And again, opportunity missed for Team Cooey. Fairly routine double here for Rob Fowler on
I
his
hit
first.
3/4 and just get to it. That's fine. 2/3.
Yeah, Robbie's a
makes it
great
with
hitter.
intern peel.
It's his bread and butter. I mean, he's obviously capable of throwing all the soft shots that he has to throw at skip now, but as a guy who played second at the highest level, he can certainly bring the fastball down here. For those of you in the Winnipeg area, Team Jones is having a photo shoot tonight, as announced on Twitter. I'd appreciate any behind-the-scenes shots if you can get your hands on some and send them. It's getting pretty lonely here in Brooks.
Brooks, Alberta, if you haven't visited, it's about 2 hours east of Calgary. A build it and they will come scenario here with this event, 7th year running and always drawing our top teams. Great shot by Robbie.
Yeah, great shot there by Rob, and even more impressive is his ability to slide all the way to the far hog line. You don't see that very often since 1986.
It's so lively in the house, eh?
Just got that other one out, but Rob mentioned, the rock's pretty lively. Fairly new rocks here in Brooks. They bought them the second or third year of this event. And $70,000 purse these players are looking for. Get a big chunk of that for first place.
It's clean.
Yeah, generally considered the best bonspiel on the tour. Players love coming to this event. Unfortunately, they got hurt a little bit in the field this year based on there's a Grand Slam event starting Tuesday night in BC. So the likes of Glenn Howard, Brad Jacobs, possibly Brad Gushu, and certainly Jeff Stout weren't able to come. But I'm sure they'll be back next year as the schedule will be shifted somewhat.
It's a tight year with everything sort of compacted. We had 2 major events before Christmas that we're not used to with the pre-trials and trials. And then teams are just a slightly more concerned about their playing schedules ahead of Christmas, not to overload it.
Now, Paul, are you going to be at the pre-trials in Waterloo, the old stomping grounds?
Yeah,
there?
Kitchener-Waterloo hosts the pre-trials there in the auditorium. Yeah, we're gonna cheer. I mean, it's twofold. I'm there. We have a number of our staff coming in to keep an eye on what teams get out of there and providing support to those teams once they win and get ready for the trials. But also cheering on my wife's team and Crystal Webster. She's skipping her own team there. But also my sister-in-law's team, Braun Webster, plays third for Clybrink.
Now, your wife made a change this year. They brought a lot of experience on the team with Kathy Overton. I know they've played a few events so far. How's that working out so far, do you know?
Yeah, I think great. You look at Kathy's resume and experience, and it's been a really good opportunity for that team to learn from her and gather that experience. They've They won in Edmonton up there. Didn't do so well in Calgary this past event, but they're all those teams are trying to peak for the pre-trials. Our women's event in Kitchener-Waterloo, there's a ton of parity in there. There's probably 7 or 8 teams out of there that if you said they won, you wouldn't be surprised. Outturned blank there for Kevin Cooey, and going with on a 2-0 advantage for Fowler. Cooey taking hammer into the third end.
Now, yeah, talking about that trial, so your wife picked up Kathy. Her former third, Aaron Carmody, landed on her feet with Laura Crocker, one of my favorites, fellow Wilfrid Laurier alumni.
Absolutely.
It was super hot.
It's pretty cool it worked out. That's a phenomenal young team. I love watching them play. Laura.
I love watching them play, too.
Yeah, different aspects of the game from Pete and I, but, Laura playing out of the University of Alberta in the Salvo Center there. And, getting ready for the World University Games coming up in December, I believe it is. And, one of our top young skips in the game right now. I love how she calls the game. Her confidence is just
she's very, very confident player. Won the Canadian Junior with Rachel Holman. And, to make that jump to skip, she's done it with, absolutely loves the pressure, embraces it. It's not afraid to play the big teams. They're going to have a real good run there.
I heard a rumor, I didn't believe it, but that she's dating Braden Muscowie.
Yeah, you know what? She's young enough. She's probably still chasing that bad boy or whatever, but she'll grow out of that. I like Braden. He's a decent guy, but let's be honest, Laura, you can do a lot better. Text me. I can set you up with some people. I got a friend, BWD Curling. He would love to take you out. Feel free to contact us.
So 2 rocks in the ing. Derek Samagoski with the unfortunate slip through the house for the draw of the 4-foot. Nolan makes no mistake about it and throws a corner guard. So just a slight miss out of Fowler. Won't hurt them too much in this end if they can get this other one, the top 4-foot.
I think it had a little something to do with the White Sox, maybe. They probably added 15 feet to that stone, would you say?
I've never seen it tied into a direct correlation between socks and speed, but
there are studies.
You've played a lot more than I, Pete, so I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Benny told me you don't, when doing a photo shoot and using them to help fulfill your jockstrap, don't use cotton because if it rains, they'll tend to shrink. You want to go with something more polyester. It's good feedback. Ben's a veteran. Ben knows what to do.
Talking about feedback, we'll go back to this game and see if these boys can master this ice condition out there. Outturn come around for Nolan. Same sort of shot he just had. A little bit more weight. These guys have only a few shots in their repertoire these days. And Nolan showing
all you got. Go.
How easy it can be. Not sure if this is fully buried.
Still a good shot by Nolan.
Great shot.
Some teams, like Glenn Howard in this situation, he's one. He'd play the same shot here as Rob, probably trying to remove the stone. He likes to keep that 4-foot open, where other teams, they might chase him down and throw a little outturned freeze and just try to create a scenario. This one's hanging out there a little bit. He might have popped it a little.
Yeah, you just saw the rock come off his body a little bit, so with that type of throwing technique, it's going to run a little straighter than his teammates. Great opportunity for Team Cooey to split the rings, but also use that corner guard. So 2's in play for sure right now, and I think if they make the shot, Rob won't think twice about ripping the corner.
The key thing for Carter here, you just want to keep this rock in front of the tee line. Still at the same time, maybe leave room for a second shot just in case they don't peel that corner.
What? I have no clue what kind of weight. Oh, man, wait.
We've consistently seen all the curl on this ice come at the end if it's
gotta
throwing
be T-line.
Within range.
Gotta be T-line. Go, Pat. Whoa. Give me some hand signals or something. I can't hear.
Yeah, very important there. When you play in an arena and it is quite loud, we get some feedback on our own headphones here. It's got to be hard for the skips out there. I saw earlier in the draw, Kevin Martin was using hand signals. But it's very important on shots like that for the skip to know what kind of weight he's been dealt so he can call the proper line.
Oh, well said.
This one
This one
looks
is
like
going.
he got her going early. This looks like one of my 2009 interns.
Keep going, keep going.
Wow.
Great sweeping by
Good
Mr.
sweep, guys.
Liburn and Samigoski there to make that shot for their teammate.
Don't get me wrong, I love Allen, but
Same
him
thing,
and great
Morris, right
sweeping
out of
probably
it, eh?
don't get
And he was
mentioned too many
solid,
times
too.
in the same sentence.
You know, not very often, I don't think, Pete, but that was phenomenal.
Yeah, they barely got
They
that
squeaked
by.
that by and made a great shot.
That could have been a killer there if they just tick the guard and redirect. You're looking at possible 3-ender now for Kevin.
Still looking for the fairly simple setup here.
Same shot for Carter. Expect this to be pretty close. No, actually,
Okay,
he's playing
I'm
the
good
hit,
with that.
sorry. My bad. Playing a nice soft
No.
weight here.
No!
Trying to
No!
get some sort of roll. They really want to go to our right-hand side of the screen here. It just didn't finish enough for them. Again, we saw that numerous times this morning where teams are struggling of what weight to play, but also where to put the broom for that weight.
Yeah, there haven't been too many that we've seen that have over-curled. Most of them have missed on the pro side.
Alan Liburn with his first here in the third end.
Alan was actually born in Scotland, I believe, and may have played in a World Junior out of Scotland. I quite often make stuff up in the booth. I have no notes in front of me, but I
Probably a
do
little
believe
heavy,
that's
eh?
we're getting that verified by Jerry.
I think so.
Alan did
Okay.
play in the World Juniors out of Scotland. That roll in no way helps them. It actually very much benefits Kevin because now his red rock is essentially frozen to that yellow one, making it much more difficult to remove.
It's pretty straight.
So Kevin recognizing the call here is, instantly they would usually put the brush down and go in turn behind the corner, but they've just had just been struggling to try to bury it. So he was just looking at different options, but giving the straight sign to Pat, so Pat might throw this a little softer to try to grab whatever curls there.
Yeah, that's the beauty of guys at this level is they can adjust to the conditions, and he's not going to come out and just dump this thing, but he'll probably try to get it a little softer than normal to get some extra finish at the end to try to hide the stone behind the guard because it's hard to get there on its own right now.
The weight is so important here from what we saw this morning. It will curl as long as the sweepers are brought into it. And this one looks like it's just that much heavy. Really tight to the
Very
guard, though. It
outflowing,
should
right
be
off.
able to,
No.
just can't get
That's the
past
start.
the tee here.
That's the start.
Another great example of that. Just perfect, 7-8 weight by Pat, and leaves a little bit open. But because it slipped behind the tee, it leaves that freeze open for Fowler's team.
Yeah, and they don't even have to make a perfect freeze here, but if they can get it half buried anywhere underneath there, it probably eliminates that red rock out on the 12-foot from coming into play to count this end.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Again, they should have, if they watched what was happening with Cooey's team, the signals they were putting down in terms of straight, you want to sort of follow that up with your own sort of softer shot.
And they took probably 4 or 5 inches more than what Kevin did on this shot, and then he's added the weight to it as well. Really important if Kevin can drag this far enough to lie two. Not quite. But a huge opportunity here now for Pat, having just thrown this shot. If he can bury one in around here to lie two buried,
You could go here.
I like that.
yeah, I just assumed he would do that, but Kevin knows a lot more
You just-
about this game
you
than
can't
I
dead
will
bury
ever
it,
know,
right?
so we'll defer
No
to
good.
him.
Yeah, he would be
Yeah.
my phone a friend on
You
the
might even
strategy
be able to-
question.
I'd phone Russian Kate.
Of course you would. Like, why wouldn't you? Hey, kid, I got the gold medal on the line. What can you tell me?
Yeah, exactly. Say it slowly.
You put it here, right?
I will need a few mental timeouts here, battling through this broadcast with Pete.
You like that?
I got to tell you,
You
folks,
need to
this is
be just bite
as
the
good as the
fur.
broadcast is going to get right
you
now,
can't go
because
there.
the later it gets in the day, the more we can tend to be overserved. Have
So I mentioned last game, Pete had 4 beverage stops to my 1 water.
2 coffee, 2 water. They decided to go with the outturn draw here, showing that I know even less than I thought I did.
So a little less weight than what he threw last time. Want to bring the sweepers into this one.
Nolan's giving the signal. He thinks it's up.
You got to be really careful here not to set up any sort of double opportunity behind that corner.
Hard! Room! Whoa!
Line is looking good. This is our ghost image, getting ready for Halloween.
Heads up.
There we go.
Throwing him hard, eh?
Yeah, that's another mistake there out of Pat. He'd like to have that one back, just a little heavy. New path. It could be just quicker down that path, because a guy at his level is going to make the adjustment normally. But Nolan signaled right away. He thought it was a little bit heavy. I mean, don't get it. There's a lot of pressure on this shot right now, but it's certainly a situation that Rob should be able to handle. And had that rock stop, say, bite the 4-foot, he's in a lot more trouble.
Oh, it could be biting the 8-foot, and he's got some decisions to make, because you
Yeah.
got to make a perfect freeze on the
Obviously
other
sliding
side.
good, eh?
Still sort of surprised. I'm going to ask Kevin after the game why he didn't decide to go with the in there, because had they only half buried that
7-8,
rock, even
guys.
he's going to leave a double. He's looking for 7-8. I have no idea what that means. In my day, we just said top 4, back 4, 7-8. Can you
Those of
explain
you
to
who
our
are
viewers?
deciphering and have watched curling over the last 10 years and paid attention, that means T-line.
Okay. I don't match the numbers up with the spots. I know my
Line's
1, 2,
good.
3 for guards, because I'm
Line's
typically
good.
playing lead now.
Go ahead if you need to. Line's
So already,
good.
just based on the sweeping, this looks like a
That's
really
the
good
goal.
shot.
That's
They're
the
going to get
goal.
the finish for sure.
Come on, Derek, go, 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 go. Hard!
Just not getting the extra curl there.
No, that one, he just needed a little more weight so the boys could wait on it longer. They had to sweep it and probably took some of the curl out. Kevin should have access to this rock to tap it back and lie 2, if not 3.
Absolute gimme for him, eh? But I mean, if I get some curl,
You can get to the nose of that.
you want to try to kill it, or is that there? I think it's there with.
I don't think you need to overthrow it though.
No.
Like if you get it back to the back mid-12 here, it's good enough. Just as good as killing it.
Sit 2.
Yeah, even
I know
that.
he threw his, and mine might not curl quite as much as his.
Just knowing the ice is
I also
running a
did
little
want it to
straighter
curl
than what
as
they're
much as
used
his.
to. What they don't want to do is overthrow this. Now, 9 times out of 10, if you saw these guys on TV at a slam, what you'd see is board weight here, without a doubt, because they're going to get that extra finish. I'm realizing that it is running a little straighter with weight. They're not worried too much about line 3. What they want to ensure is that they're going to lie 2 under cover, so it puts the pressure on Fowler. And then if it's looking really good, they'll make sure they move it out of play too.
Yeah, that's a good point,
think if
Paul.
you
Like
don't
on
have
that
to-
slam ice, there's such late finish, and it just swoops in there, where here, he's probably going to have to throw it a little softer to try to earn that extra
Same
curl.
as this morning.
Kevin's first draw of the game, just trying to figure out what the weight is.
Well then.
Little in out on the release. You can see it leaving that
Get off
center line
it!
still.
Seems
Right
a
off!
little agitated right now.
No.
It's got a long way to curl.
Watch the 4.
Hey.
Not at all what he was looking for. Not a disaster by any stretch, but
Double.
probably just overthrew it a little late, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost that release where he sort of released it like he was on slam ice, and it just stuck across that center line. Didn't finish until the end.
I think that's a hard thing now for the players. Like
Gonna double for 3 if you don't make
the
it.
club I curl at, we have typically had very straight ice, but we got a brand new ice maker this year. He's done a great job, but the amount of rocks that people are crashing on or losing handles because they haven't learned to put enough handle on, and you don't have to worry about that on straight ice. Kevin has played so much on arena ice that he's probably
Hack.
built his delivery and his release based on that, and that one crept into play there and probably caught him a little bit.
Pretty good
100%.
there.
Robbie with a pretty tricky shot, and just worried about the angles on the back, A, and then B, what he's leaving Kevin. So if there's any sort of jam on that one on the center line, 2 or 3 could still be in play here if he doesn't get his, the good roll.
Really need him to jack one.
To jump it, okay, guys?
As Kevin mentioned, he really needs him to jack one. So just miss it a little bit straight side if he could.
Good point by Rob, too, telling his front end not to jump it. He's aware of how straight this rock could go.
If it doesn't touch the 7, we don't have much hope unless he rolls real far.
Rob Fowler with his last one here in the third end. 2-0 advantage over Kevin Cooey, trying to play put the force in play here. Needs to curl. They're going to go for the audible and go for the roll behind the corner. Great shot.
Yeah, I don't know if they were playing that or not. If they were, it's a great shot.
Man, is that straight? Wow. It was good, eh? Yeah.
You can just hear by that conversation they were trying for something else. That's probably the best shot they could have done, though.
Yeah, good shot there.
So force of 1 here to Kevin Cooey. Kevin's going to draw full 4-foot for the single point here. He'll be a little disappointed over the few misses that were provided to them, but opportunity missed. And we'll try to get a single here and look at stealing in the fourth.
That seems heavy to me, no?
They should have a pretty good idea what this does. Pat already threw an out turn come around that slid a little deep here, but he'll know they should be able to provide the feedback to give him the proper number.
What were you getting on my draw?
I was trying to give you the hand signal.
I'd give him about a 3.876-241 here.
I'd say 2-4-3, but
depends on
we're
sweeping.
splitting hairs there.
Depends on sweeping, yeah. Kev certainly does not have the most conventional of deliveries, but you cannot argue with the results. He could be one of the best shot makers, if not the best shot maker in the world right now.
Looking good based on how the guys are sweeping it. Just need a piece of the 4-foot for a single point here in the third end.
Now, were they sweeping that one? Nolan sort of looked like he was cleaning that a bit.
Just a heavy clean. Just knew what he needed to do there, Pete.
He's veteran.
1 point here for Kevin Cooey in the third end. Rob Fowler taking a 2-1 lead going into fourth with hammer.
Take this opportunity maybe to get caught up on Twitter a little bit. We got a tweet from Wayne Tuck at Curling Tuck. Update from Gatineau. Fairfield now wearing pants 4 inches too long. Hashtag no flood. Hashtag someone was listening. That goes back to a broadcast early in the season where, to be honest, Andrew was caught with pants that were probably prepared for that of the ice melting. I decided to point it out. I had to apologize to Andrew later because his family was listening. I was only joking, but it appears that maybe he got in touch with Aaron over at Gold Line. Very good friend of curling, and he's properly attired now. So maybe someone can talk to our gentleman out on the ice today about his white socks. Maybe give him some spray paint, paint them black. I don't know.
They might be his good luck socks, so Pete. We got a lot of superstitions here in curling.
Well, he just threw one 15 feet through the ring, so I don't know if they could be that lucky.
You're talking about Gold Line. We mentioned Arnold Asham, a great supporter of curling throughout the years. Gold Line, Doug and Aaron Flowers, Doug being Aaron's dad, longtime supporter of curling, and we'd be remiss too to forget about Balance Plus.
Oh yeah,
another great supporter of a lot of these teams out there, and you'll see all that gear: Asham, Gold Line, Balance Plus, Performance out of Quebec. And, it's not a huge business, so it's amazing to see how much sponsorship all those companies provide to the teams on tour, but also a lot of the younger developing teams as well.
Yeah, it's great to see support like that in the game. I mean, Arnold is the guy who pioneered it. Now Gold Line is really expanding. There are teams at the highest level, and they've always been supportive of curling at the grassroots level. Balance Plus does a ton of work for charity in the game as well as with the elite athletes. And Quebec, we had them for quite a few years. Andre Furland always helped out with brooms, and I mean we're a lower level team.
Just freeze, lights
but he always helped out. It's a very unique sport that way.
Right on it.
Nolan being asked for the out-turn freeze on one
freeze.
in the top 4-foot.
Right on it. Go, Kurt. Right up. Shot.
It's a good shot there by Nolan. Really good, well played end. I didn't realize I've only really got to know Nolan over maybe the last year or so, but he grew up playing his junior curling and his university curling with Mike McEwen out of Winnipeg. They won the Ontario and the Canadian, and I assume probably the World University Games. I mean, with the team they had.
And on the way there, picked up Mark Kennedy as a super spare.
Not a bad spare.
Not bad. So Nolan, it's funny we talk about fitness and sport. I just saw a recent picture from this event, actually online from the first event, and just the way Nolan's transformed his body, and into a sort of world-class sweeper, and really taking that fitness thing to heart. And I didn't the first time I saw the picture, I didn't realize it was him.
Yeah, I believe he referred to himself as a soft fatty or something like that, but. It shows you how much now the game has changed and how professional these guys are, how dedicated they are, because now, I wouldn't even want to hazard a guess. Nolan might have lost 30 or 40 pounds, but
absolutely,
he's a totally different individual now, and very fit, very dedicated, and it shows up in the results.
Right up. Whoa. Just split center row. Whoa.
Carter coming up a little bit light there, so Kevin trying to keep it out of the rings.
Yeah, good call there by Kevin too. He knew they'd obviously missed the shot. He's trying to get that rock to stop in a situation where it creates an angle for them to use it later. Carter'd like to have that one over, obviously.
Straight peel for Taylor.
We've also been asked other events going on the tour this weekend. There's a big event back in Sarnia, my hometown, 519 Z16. Had a little shout out from Ryan Parker, the Huron Reprographics Oil Heritage Classic. Not sure how it can be a classic when it's only in its second year, but nevertheless, great bunch of guys running that bonspiel. Good luck to everyone playing down there.
Yep. Finish her up.
Good shot there by Carter. Very tough to keep that rock high enough to try to avoid a double peel situation.
This one's okay.
Looks like they're only maybe going to go after one anyway.
He's got both draws, right? What are you guarding?
Good point there by Kevin.
Like, I think we try and make it freeze.
Hard.
If he runs it back, we maybe get shot. Right? It's our guard.
It's good.
He's playing out the end in his head, and he knows that if they continue to throw guards and they continue to get peeled, eventually there's an in-turn or an out-turn draw for yellow to score 2 points. So he's going to try to maybe create something in the rings to improve his chances of a steal.
Now.
Although with that stone there, they just took away their out-turn draw, so now Kevin might change his tactics.
At some point, Kevin can elect to run one of these guards back, not the one on the right, but the one Pat's just playing if Fowler ignores it. The concern Kevin had before that if they kept playing the game they were with draw peel or guard peel, is that he would have Fowler would have a draw to the button for two. We leave that shot all day in club and so on, but these guys make the draw the pin look so easy. With their draw weight, but also with the sweeping front ends that they have these days.
It's one of the biggest changes in the game I found. Like Kevin Martin, arguably, not even arguably, the greatest curling resume of all time for sure. But Kevin used to be able to pick on his draw weight a little bit. And ever since he's been playing with Mark and Benny, he has become as good or maybe the best draw guy in the game. Because he knows if he can throw it anywhere within 8 or 10 feet, and Benny's probably sitting at home right now saying 15 feet, they will put it exactly where it needs to be. And that Kevin is just... as much as his hit game started to suffer a little bit, he's more than made up for it on his draw weight and his touch game with those sweepers.
He had a great opportunity to watch those guys play through the 2010 Olympics, and some of the time just an amazement how the confidence that whole team exuded in Kevin's draw weight throughout that run.
Yeah.
And they could be drawing against three of the pin, and no one would bat an eyelash.
Oh no, they make it for fun.
When they put the room down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Rob, we'll listen in here.
An intern and sit two on it. Probably get forced up. Peel this time, and then we'll see where
We got a
we're at.
funny little angle where you could only see the top of their hair there. Robbie
A
still
little
fe-
dig against our 10-person production crew here.
he's still featuring the Chia Pet haircut. I love it. I'm rocking a similar one myself.
I'm just trying to hold on.
Yeah, you're doing not a bad job.
No, it's
not
sticking.
a bad job,
It's
Paul.
sticking, yeah.
I mean, I just saw Rob Schlender out there stealing crackers from the condiment table, and he's fighting it a little harder. No offense, Brad Jacobs.
Alan Library with just the peel here. Oh,
They were actually trying to, hit enough of that they did not touch that red rock. They almost chipped it onto the rings.
so Kevin asking Pat with the same guard, just bring it in tight again, and it'll be interesting to see what Rob does at that point.
Oh, just clean, just clean. This one doesn't have to curl, doesn't have to curl. Oh, split center. Oh, you're good, you're good. You're good, you're good.
Freeze with the out turn now? I think so. Okay. Try and get it on the nose.
A little higher and over curled a bit, so allows Rob Fowler and team to get Liburn's rock in here on top of that yellow, and set up a few a slightly better angle for them that doesn't leave the fairly routine double on the yellows in the house right now.
Yeah, that one
Cool.
actually finished quite hard at the end to open up the opportunity for this shot. Kevin was hoping it would maybe stop half a rock over to close the hole, but he should be able to maneuver it through there.
5 rocks remaining in this fourth end.
Can't believe how much he missed.
Fowler with hammer, sitting 1 right now on the button, trying to set up a potential score of 2 here in the fourth end.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
I think Rob would like them to
I
not
hear ya.
sweep.
Whoa, you're still on the guard.
Really nice shot by Alan Liburn.
That's a very good. It shows you how that was a much tighter hole than what it looked, because they barely snuck by that guard, but that ended up perfect.
Drag, but
Good shot.
6 should go too, right?
Yeah.
Like this
I
one.
cut you down
Kevin's
from the
already
bottom.
eyeing up the angle here.
This
to,
one might go flying out, but it's the best. Nothing from this side.
No.
But I'm not sure I don't mind them playing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just got to be careful now, because if it's any kind of move, you got a good chance of the deuce.
Well, and that 6 has got to go too, right? What do you like?
That's one of those ones where we could be top 12 as long as we had the right line.
I think he's playing to move this,
Couldn't
man.
sweep it
and
until we
if
had
he
the-
ever moves this,
And we ended up having the perfect weight. 4 or 5 would be the right
wow,
weight.
he'll be able to hit any. I'd have to take both away.
Skip rocks
I know,
remaining
but
in
what
the
are you
fourth end.
guarding right now?
Two
This?
here too.
No, I think I could do that on my last one.
We might try and double peel these. Clear up both.
Yeah, but can he hammer this and on the nose and that goes? Maybe. What are you thinking up here?
Kevin's chosen to
Playing
throw a high
guard.
guard with the in turn.
I think we can guard that draw on my last one.
No, it sure doesn't. So do we try and freeze on the inch of the red?
I think you gotta take the hole away, eh, Pat? Yeah, I think so. Straight here, but
Just trying to make it a little more difficult
How do
for
we
Rob
see where he
to
goes?
score
If he
2 and
overcurls
almost
this, Oh,
forcing him to make a play on the top one or
one
something.
overcurls
try double peel those center ones, eh?
Yeah, again, I think he'd be pretty happy. He's not in a very good steal situation here. He'd be very happy just to force the one.
Just a bit the red-yellow just wasn't offset just a little bit.
Or he moves these, and then if we don't have good angles, it's...
I was talking to Nolan before the game. He was hoping to mop these guys up in 5 ends so he could watch his beloved Red Sox.
I don't think he's trying. And if he does...
There's going to be a lot of spin on that 8.
You got any preference in the World Series, Paulie?
Not all. You know, I don't watch. I'm always amazed at a 162-game season that has their playoffs ending in within 3 weeks.
Yeah, it is pretty funny.
I love watching playoffs. You know, you watch some of the storylines out of Boston. It's been pretty fun to watch Big Pappy do his thing this playoffs. And
yeah, I was a Tigers fan because I owned them in a pool, and he broke our hearts there with that grand slam. Great for the city of Boston after what they've had happen this year. It'd be very nice to see them win, outside of the fact that Nolan would be so happy, and so would Brent Pierce.
Try not to jump it.
Again, Kevin recognizing how straight this spot can
Higher
be
the better, no.
until it crosses the center line.
Oh, off.
one of those ones you just need over that
Can
hog
you get it
line
right
and off.
beside that other one? Oh.
So they're trying to guard the
Do you
hole,
think
which is what they
what's the
did.
best he can do?
Good, and then I'm guaranteed to have the draw on
And
my
he just
last one, right?
drills down the nose. Red?
I think you need to, because you might give him shot rock that way.
Even if he hit on the outside.
One of our sponsors there is Essential Coil Well. So what is a coil
Right
well?
now, we're probably guaranteed
Is
to
that something we're allowed to talk about on the
Might
air?
have a shot for
No, actually, that and fracking are highly discouraged to be talked about on air because, you know, within Western Canada here, they know a lot about coil wells and fracking.
So, I mean,
but with our Eastern
think
audience
it's fair?
tuning in, we got to be really careful about what's allowed.
We don't, we gotta just guard the draw.
Peel it up, and hopefully we have a draw for 2.
Yeah, so his goal here is to peel this one, hoping Kevin will replace it, which will then allow Rob to throw the in-turn draw to the 4-foot for 2. And to be honest, I don't know if Kevin will have many other options.
Just give it to him.
Kevin's worried about him being able to almost double peel his own yellows but keep them in play, but maybe lose the red one for a multiple score.
For skip stone for Rob Fowler, just straight peel makes that. Now Carter Rycroft coming in to help out Kevin Cooey and Pat Simmons decide on what angles there. Worried about that red one spinning out if they don't guard it.
Yeah.
Is it there with that? It's that's no chance, right? I didn't see that there. I think that one's in the way, eh?
I think so.
You're not even guarding any of this, really, right?
So it'd almost be like Kickstarter or something. We raise enough money in the next 2 minutes, Kevin Cooey will throw this one to the boards for you, so we can see what actually happens.
Yeah, it would be an interesting shot. He's decided that they can't really create anything positive for the yellows, so he's going to try to
as long as
throw the
you can't
out-turn
hit the
guard
6,
to take
right?
away the in-turn draw.
I think tight is. Yeah. He's fine. Can't get around it, right?
If I over here, we might beat that 8 rock because it'll curl a little harder.
It's funny, those lead rocks were put in position there, bite the button, and then Nola made a good freeze, and those rocks haven't been moved since.
So out-turn guard for Kevin Cooey, just looking to guard that 4-foot line.
Not much more.
And then Rob Fowler will have an interesting decision if he's going to make a hit and see if there's any spin on that red rock. I think what you've heard him in the background talking about is some sort of draw to the
Right
button.
up.
They need full forward just to touch the button to score 2.
Keep going. That's good. Good.
Great shot by Kevin Cooey.
Good.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough deuce
better
right
chance
now.
to overbury behind that one, don't you?
Just looking at which guard, and I think Rob would recognize that the intern's going to be the easier shot here
That's
around
dead
that guard
buried.
Kevin
That's
just
not
threw.
quite second, but if we get to there,
The
that's
outturn
second.
hole is through there, through
Which I
center
think
for
we got
a
a
piece of the
chance
4
to
foot,
go
but they
for
actually
that.
need full 4 plus about an inch
Just hit the tee
to
line.
score 2, so they're pretty much aiming for the button here.
Yeah, he's really got to hope they'll play this
be
as
pretty close, eh?
tight to the guard as they can possibly get it, and then they really have to hope for some late finish.
Can get
Probably not the kind of rock you want to throw too light, because if they have to sweep it, it will not have that late finish with the curl.
We haven't seen too many out here either, so this is a slight question
Takes
unless
the
they
right
threw it in
line, it's
practice.
there. I think it's got to be just a shade heavier out here, though, don't you? Like 5 feet, or are you thinking 10 feet? Yeah. You might simply let it run free and get curled.
Rob Fowler with his last rock here in the fourth end. Looking for 2, already scoring 1 point in this end. Trying to get a piece of the button to take a 4-1 lead over Kevin Cooey.
A huge shot if he can make it.
They are way out there right now. And not even close. Just trying to guess on the ice, and probably a little frosty out there. You don't see Rob
Pretty
come
heavy
off
out
that
there.
far.
No, you could hear him in the
Pretty heavy
hack.
out
He said, is it 5 feet, is it 10 feet?
Slow.
Talking about how much heavier it would be. I mean, 10 feet is a huge adjustment, and it probably turns out it was at least that.
So key miss from Team Fowler. Opportunity there. Those guys do make that shot a lot of the time.
There you go.
So a small win for Cooey to get the hammer back, but only give up 1 point. And you'll see Kevin Cooey here going hard for trying to score 2 and get back into this game.
Yeah, I think this will be a very interesting end here because we're already in the 5th, so Kevin needs that deuce, and I think he'll go pretty hardcore to try to develop it right now.
8 end games here at the Cactus Pheasant Classic here in Brooks, Alberta. This is an A semi. Winner goes on to play tomorrow, and I'll tell you the lineup here in a second. Just checking my curlingzone.com website. So winner goes on to play the winner of Thomas Ulsrud, otherwise known as Team Pants, and Michelle out of Switzerland. So looking at an international game next for this, which will be an A qualifier tomorrow at noon. Derek Semigoski with his first rock here in the 5th end. Alan Lyburn taking a timeout, so we got Brendan Taylor as a single sweeper. I believe this one was called into the top 4 foot. We're going to leave it tight here. Great shot. Kevin looking for the intern corner guard from Nolan Thiessen.
Let it curl, let it curl. Yeah. Fairly high, guys. Just here, Pat.
Great shot by Nolan. Again, Leeds making it look fairly easy here. Derek going to be called for the intern coming around that shot he just played. Pete Stesky has taken his first break of the game. He's down from 4 from last game, so that's pretty good. He's getting old. A lot of bathroom breaks needed.
Lots of room. Whoa, Brendan, lots of room. Never touch it. Okay, go deep. Try and bury a corner. Go deep. Yep.
Not bad weight there from Derek, but again, we've seen that numerous times when the weight is just thrown to the area itself, so straight T-line weight for T, we just don't get that finish.
What's that?
So Nolan going to be asked for the freeze on top of that, just a little
Doesn't take
corner
much.
around the center guard if you can.
Yep. Whoa. What's this? Yep. Oh, room.
Who was this guy?
Hard. Hard.
Intern draw here for Nolan, they got to bury
Oh,
it.
guys. Oh, just here.
A little question about weight coming down there. Good shot, a little deep based on the angle that they left. They would have liked him in top of that yellow one. Welcome my booth mate Pete Stetsky back to the...
Here you're taking some little pot shots at the old skipper. What's going on?
I'm just saying, Pete, you're getting a little older. The bathroom breaks are
I was
more
just
readily
doing
needed at your age bracket.
I was actually doing a score update, checking out the games that we don't have in our view right now.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
we could simply look at the scoreboard, but that's online here beside me.
I don't have the technology myself.
Brendan Taylor playing the same shot that we've seen a couple times here in a row. Alan Lyburn following Pete Stetsky into the bathroom. Whoa, our camera guy is taking objection. I think he's older too, and didn't think 40 was old. Okay, a little bit short there. This is okay. We're gonna take a slight break here and get everyone a drink.
No shame in that.
So slight miss there. Really good opportunity for Team Fowler to come in on top of that one. Maybe not sit shot, but the positioning of those rocks could not have been ignored. Coming up 4 or 5 feet light there for Brendan Taylor allows this out-turn draw opportunity for Carter Rycroft.
Hard line. Hard.
Carter'd really like another shot at the Olympics, obviously, having played in 02 with Kevin Martin. They had a very disappointing loss in the final.
Go, guys.
On last rock.
Looked like a great shot here. If they can keep this straight, just finishing too much, going to crash into there. Really close.
Yeah, just probably a hair light. This could be Carter's last year. He's very active in business and family. He's going to have to make some tough decisions at the end of the season, but certainly if this is going to be his last year, he'd really obviously like to get back in that Olympics.
Yeah, Team Cooey 2010 world champions with Blake McDonald playing third. Blake semi-retired after that, and they brought in Pat Simmons to fill in that spot. They're trying to get back to that level with the key competition this year being the Olympics. So Team Cooey looking first at the Olympic trials. They're one of 6 teams pre-qualified for our Olympic trials. And they have to get out of that competition first.
They've actually picked up Blake, his current skip, Jamie King. They've picked him up as their 5th player for their Olympic run. Jamie's a great player. He just doesn't play very much anymore, but if he played more, would be probably a threat to be in that trials for sure. He's an outstanding curler, as is Blake. They also have Scott Pfeiffer on that team.
Yeah, they call themselves the retired curlers. So Jamie King, a long-time really good skip, as Pete mentioned, here in Alberta. Blake McDonald, 2010 world champion with Team Cooey. And then Scott Pfeiffer, long-time front-ender world champion, Brier champion with Team Furby. And let's not forget Jeff Erickson.
Yes. Good man, Jeff.
He really finishes off that team.
He does what to that team? I have never... wow.
Normally I press mute on the mic. I have no mute here, so you'll hear me laughing numerous times during the broadcast.
Now we get a little feedback again on Twitter here. We'd like to fit this in. It's a very interactive broadcast from Tommy Salos at Mountain Man.
And he's got this.
Says at B Moss sounds like at XL Purple Sweaters trying to mow your lawn. Not true at all. Mosk is a very good individual. I just merely think Laura could do better. Being from Laurier, I think he's overachieving there. They've had a great last couple weeks on tour. Moss Curls with Team Virtue.
You're just going up
They came off a final loss, an extra end loss to Kevin Martin. Picked up runner-up money, and then last week lost the semifinals and a huge spiel in Portage. So they've won $15,000 the last 2 weeks. So good for them. Great team. Good young team.
Carter Rycroft over-curled on his first and just got that one a little bit straight. So a mess of rocks right now in play. Team Cooey sitting 1 on the button. And not too many angles favoring either team here right now. They got to really be careful how things set up for both. Robbie trying to do some calculations there with his Russian dancing routine in the back.
Yeah, he did a little, Wow, wow, Masculine. What's that song called, buddy?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to sing it.
Singing the whole thing.
I'm not going to sing the whole thing. Again, we can phone the Russian ladies. Maybe they can come into Singapore. These are the type of hands that drove me out of the game because I could never really have the patience to figure out what was going on. You really got to be careful where you leave your stones here, because if you do make even the smallest of errors, players at this level can remove all your stones very quickly, and you're looking at dropping a 3-ender.
Yeah, I think we might have lost Robbie's mic because we didn't hear anything there. Alan Liburn asking for the hit on one of those reds. I think they're looking to just sit there. They got to be really careful the angles back. Throwing a little inside out here. This is running a little straighter. Oh, Robbie's back.
Good.
Just get there. He's looking for the nose.
Nice shot.
Great shot.
Right in the nose.
Kevin's looking to play almost the exact shot, just with a little more sweeping so he can remove both yellows.
Just make this go away. I think just here.
Big mistake you could make here is just to hit it a hair too high. You might, I'm not sure if the yellow's in the way, you could possibly remove your own red.
Throw it up. Right in the nose.
It's hard to tell from this angle whether that jam possibility's there.
Yeah, they really want to keep their shooter there, not to leave that out-turn draw again. So Pat Sim just has to be really careful how he releases this one so it doesn't run on him. Nose hit.
Keep control of that control zone.
That's right, Linda.
Whoa.
Sort of pop that one out a little.
Off.
Still fading here. Really wants to stick it right there.
Yeah, that was only a whisker away from doing what I said it could do, and it
Just ticked theirs.
actually worked out not too great. Well, no gimme to get through the hole here and make a play on that rock.
No, it isn't. He has to play on it, and there's no way to freeze or draw on it with that path. But what he's going to leave is actually an out-turn draw for Kevin. So
it's a
Rob's
good
got to be
ball,
really careful here where this one goes. He's almost he has almost no choice but to play this shot. But I think Kevin will be getting ready for the out-turn freeze, like he was calling for Carter.
Yep! Hard! 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 Go, go, go!
Probably the best of both worlds for Fowler not to stay in the 4-foot there and get rid of that one. Kevin still has that out-turn draw, but there's no freeze. He's looking at anything to try to lie two on the side here. Might be able to tap and roll.
I think you play it with some weight.
It's only the second draw of curling
like
for our production team here.
chessboard.
They're getting it, but they're
Chessboard.
trying to mess with Pete a little
Half
bit
roll.
because
Roll it right.
you've seen
Right
Brent
roll.
Pierce earlier. You see him get frustrated with line. You see Pete how mad he gets in the booth here when the boys mess up. So
Pat.
Pete's just dealing with
Like
them in the
this,
back.
or
He'll be back and join us in a second.
Going crazy right
I
now.
thought it was going to curl.
You can
One was a
hold
tight
it.
Throw, but one that definitely wasn't going to track.
This is that type of shot we just really expect these type of teams to make. Some teams will just ignore it because the technical requirement here is a little bit too much. But they're going to try to lie two after this one with Pat.
Good signal right away by the boys on the weight.
Yep. Whoa. Hard. Real hard.
Finishing really hard now. They really want to keep that shooter.
Hard, Alan, right over this one. Right out of the 8-foot. Hard, go, get it past this one. Go, 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 go. Okay.
So sitting first and third after the one just rolled a little bit too much.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there. That one just finished up a little too hard at the end, which is too bad, or they would have lied too.
I think it was a good throw by Pat, just a little deceiving on the curl. They didn't expect it to curl that much at the end. And just missed the sweep. I think if they had them on 10 feet earlier, they would have had a great shot.
Here.
Yeah, I
Been
don't know
sitting two.
what weight they wanted there, but I don't think that they originally signaled it was heavy,
Bumper?
but by the end it didn't seem to have that much weight, I don't think.
So Rob Fowler coming in for the intern
Better
hit and
curl
roll.
here. You want to go just a little less?
A little bit of a catcher in the back there if he's ever a little bit straight, so they got to be careful for that.
We're not
But
playing
it's
the
a
roll,
fairly
just the nose, guys.
fairly routine shot for Rob. Hit and lied two here and force Cooey to another draw for one. Still a few rocks remaining, I guess, but Should look at my own graphics. So first shot for Rob Fowler of this fifth end. Just looking for an in-turn nose hit.
Yep. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Yep.
Trying to get that roll underneath.
So pretty good shot by Rob there. Just left that out in the open. We've seen this out-turn path numerous times. So Kevin can just come down here with back 4, back 8 and move that out of scoring position. Try to roll his shooter a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to get underneath with it. I think, like you say, his best option is probably to roll towards the wing underneath that red guard.
I think so.
You're liable to touch that anyway. Yeah. Make that. Yeah, let's make this roll.
Down control.
Okay. Yeah.
Down control might be the same as good board.
Yeah, it could be good board. Could be above average hack. It's hard to
I
say.
don't know.
Isn't that the title of your autobiography?
Above average hack.
So out-turn hit and roll here for Kevin Cooey. Normally you won't see these guys talking about the shot very much, but the ice conditions here today are just giving them a little bit of more thought process involved, and they want to make sure the collective is brought into this to talk about what they think is going to happen. We want to bring that corner guard into play, but also open up that forefoot in case Kevin has to draw for one.
If I miss it, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, that's probably the key as much as anything, Paul, is not in a great position right now to score 2, but if he can make this roll or at least take play away from the center line, he's going to guarantee he gets his point.
Well, a little in-out again. You see it leaving the line here. Kevin had one of these, I believe, is in the third end maybe, where it left the line there too, and they set up that one.
Wow, this one's in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble.
Good, bro. What is he? If I can. Oh.
You don't see that too much out of Kevin.
I think that was that same path. I think it must have been the first time when they got to out of Fowler, right? When Kevin just almost identical shot in that same path, and we talked about that release at that point. And that's what we just saw at the end of that shot, is that sort of in-out release that usually pays dividends at a slam condition. But the ice here in Brooks is just a little bit straighter than these boys are used to, so they're just battling that release mechanism and trying to figure out how to make shots on this ice right now.
If it runs there, it's
in a lot of trouble now. Any type of quality guard here, there's be no access for the in-turn or out-turn draw. He's going to have to look at something that he can run in.
I like the in.
Right now there are a couple of options. Multiple rock takeout with yellow, or he can slash in the corner guard, the red, to try to score, but neither one of them looks very appetizing.
Love Kevin already, Kevin and Pat, and take a page from this junior players if you're looking. They're assuming Rob's going to take it and make the shot. So what they're trying to do now is just talk about what they need to make, and as opposed to waiting for the rocks to stop and then talking their options. So Kevin's already talking about A, the shot, but B, where he wants to put the brush, what weight to throw, and just to speed up the game a little bit. So many times you see those developing teams just hang out and wait for the rocks to stop and then talk.
And on top of that, further to that point, is they're not dwelling on the miss.
Totally.
I mean, a big miss by Kevin. He knows it. Pat knows it. But you know what? They can't change it now. And all they can do is move on and try to execute this next shot to keep the game going.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, so just in-turn across.
So looking at the Rays double takeout, all on yellow rocks, and trying to make their one at the back 12-foot be the scoring point. Recognizing that draws are not easy on this ice, so Kevin's going to go to his bread and butter and just chuck a meat cannon down the center line here.
He's going to go, the in-turn across the face, try to create more action with that. No real option for a draw. This is probably
Might go to 4.
his
Last
only
rock
shot.
here in the 5th end. Kevin Cooey with the raised double takeout, trying to get 1 point.
Opted again.
Yep. Whoa. Yes. Whoa.
Wow,
Oh, that is
that
unlucky.
is just gross.
And
That is
I think that might be 3 points.
like that is absolutely gross to make a shot at that level and just basically get the wrong side of it. Like that was gross. Like that. You know, you get a score that 5.5 out of 4, and you drop a steal of 3.
We're going to assume it's 3. We'll update the score otherwise if that's different, but it looks like...
Go one in and then chuck the second one? So, or just throw both through and peel it out.
Derek making a great point here. The last thing they want to do is get rocks in play, so you might see Fowler's team looks like they've decided to throw both through, and then they're trying to peel and recognizing they can give up 2 points here, which is not usually how we do it, but quick math is they're up 6-1. There's 3 reigns remaining, so if they give up 2 here, take 1, give up 2, take 1, they're still winning this game.
If they can wrap this up early, I think he probably has time to go hit winners and buy himself some black socks.
Pete Stesky joining me, Paul Webster, in the booth here at the Cactus Pheasant Classic. In the 6th end here of the A semifinal, Cooey versus Fowler, a couple trials and pre-trials teams battling it out. Winner getting Thomas Alsrud or Michelle out of Switzerland. We'll get an update of that game. Sven Michel with the 3-1 advantage in that game right now.
They're a good young team out of Switzerland. They've won quite a bit of cash when they've traveled over to Canada.
Derek successful with his throw through. Now Nolan looking to throw 2 corner guards, trying to even so there's not any double peels. I think if they stick with the game plan, you see Team Fowler throw this one through the rings again. Again, 8 in games here in Brooks. So 5-point advantage after 6, or after 5, sorry, 3 ends to go. It's you just got to do some simple math and not get too caught up with rocks in play.
Now, Kevin, really, he needs to score a deuce this end for sure. If he doesn't, I'm sure they'll shake hands. And even if he does, that's a real uphill battle. They'd actually probably prefer to score a lot more than that, but it's going to be tough because Rob's going to hit everything in sight now.
That's exactly what I said to Alan, too.
Do we have any update on Jacobs taking on Lecoq? I mean, my prediction was he'd lay a beating on Lecoq, but can we get a score update?
Team Brad Jacobs has laid a beating on Team Mark Lecoq. Lecoq out of Moncton, New Brunswick, taking on the Sault Ste. Marie World silver medalist in Team Jacobs, and Jacobs pulls out the 7-3 win, playing in the Challenge Chateau Cartier de Gatineau.
Nice accent there.
Oui, oui.
I got to tell you, I played against that Mark Lecoq quite a few times. He used to play for Russ Howard. He could not be more adequately named, and I'll just leave it at that.
Brendan Taylor, new second here for Team Fowler with the outturn peel.
Good.
Rob keeping it pretty simple here, not looking for anything crazy.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get a whole bunch of misses, Paul, out of the Manitoba boys ripping the heat down here, I don't think.
No.
You might get one out of the Scotsman at third, but I don't think the second stone's going to miss too many.
Manitoba's always been really good at making it go away. Carter Rycroft with his first here in the 6th end, just looking to replace that corner guard. Got to be really careful here on the angle so there's no double peel, trying to keep those even. And Robbie not even thinking about it, just going to go for the same shot.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to keep this as simple as possible, and if Kevin's able to make a good come around, they'll score their 2, and if not, it's probably the game will be over.
Yep.
Brendan Taylor asks for the outturn peel again.
Good throws, Brendan.
And he makes it. So a little cat and mouse here. Fowler just giving away 2 points if he can. He'll look at any double if it's in the rings, but at some point, probably in Pat's last one or Kevin's first one, they'll go around that corner guard. Fowler will rip off the extra corner. Kevin will split the rings and take the 2, and then if he gets 2, it looks like we'll be going to a 7th, and we'll probably see either Cooey shake after 7, or if they get a steal, continue to go on. They're behind the 8 ball for sure.
Yeah, it's a frustrating situation, obviously, for Cooey here because they're throwing these guards down and they're trying to put them in the right spot and everything. But at the end of the day, they know they're going to be up there for about 30 seconds before they get ripped away. And it's almost like you're picking weeds in your backyard. You know they're going to grow back, so what's the use?
Beleski called the Weed Man.
Yeah,
Proud sponsor
shout-out.
of Team Howard.
There it is right there, Brent Lang. That shout-outs to you. They're enjoying their week off, although Brent's much better half is off to Winnipeg to compete in the ladies' Grand Slam events. Jennifer, always one of the favorites, no matter where she's playing.
Here we go. Going to go on Pat's first, so it looks like we can go out turn, come around.
Carter's still the professional, cleaning the slide path there. Not that he really cares at this point in time.
Wait only. Lots of room.
Do we have any idea who we're going to be
Yeah, go
featuring
back,
on
House,
tonight's
I know.
broadcast?
We'll be the new Team Morris, so Team Cotter versus Dean Jonice out of BC, so Victoria or Vancouver.
A little B-side battle there.
Cullen the Curler, the comic/lead. Straight from our producer, Jerry Gertz. First time you'll see the new Team Morris on any type of television broadcast. Right here, curlingzone.com.
It's fine.
Robbie being polite, they would love to roll that one out, so it gives a little advantage here to Team Cooey with a little backing.
Yeah, that's not an ideal spot to leave that stone. I mean, the 6-1 lead, it's not overly concerning, but as we've seen in our earlier broadcast, things can sort of pop up out of nowhere like they did in that 8th end today after 2 double peels were made. So if he can execute a nice
Lights
freeze
tight.
here, you never know. He could create a 3 maybe.
Off then.
Pat Simmons, same out-turn draw he was just asked for. Looking
Let it
to
draw
freeze
right
up
in
to
your
this
left.
one.
Tight.
It is really
Get
curling.
it.
Wow.
Whoa, whoa.
Just sneaking that by. That had
That is
pretty soft handle there, probably trying to get that to
top
dart in
notch.
there.
Yeah, that's the best come around we've seen all day, honestly.
Pretty professional throw there by Pat. Pat, a chiropractor in his day-to-day work. He actually he was in Toronto for a couple years at Chiropractic College, and little did people know they had one of the best players in the world hiding out there. Pat didn't curl too much then. Probably mopped up some chiropractor league somewhere, and that's about it, before returning back to Saskatchewan and having numerous prior appearances.
Rob Fowler not going to get into the mess of stuff that's in the house, just going to peel that guard.
Look for Robbie to slide all the way down to the other end on this one, I think.
Sort of his forte.
It's a signature move. That way he
He's
can
a-
call line on his own shots.
He is a long slider.
Very long slider.
Well done.
Not saying he's compensating for something, but he might be.
Intern peel made by Rob Fowler. Now up to Kevin Cooey to see what sort of play he wants to put on those rocks.
I'm still shocked by how great a shot Kevin made last end, and
We got to put in this one.
to sort of get hooped the way he did, that had to hurt, but that's curling. You play long enough, stuff like that's going to happen.
We'll try to get that replay for you.
If it happens too many times, you end up in the booth sitting beside a guy you went to university with commentating on games.
With the only thing you can celebrate is an Ontario University championship. And man, do we ever.
Yeah, you know what? We should have annual dinners to celebrate that, I think. You know,
We should go back to, we got some time here, and as Kevin and Pat discussed, to talk about the long lineage of phenomenal laureate curlers.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
most
started
people
with-
think of Pete and I when they first think of laureate curling, but others you may think of. We mentioned Laura Crocker already. John Morris, parlayed
Lang.
this trade. Brent Lang, yes.
Pat Dugan. None of these people have on the male side ever won the OUAA. They found it very hard to follow in
Now,
our
there are a
footsteps.
couple two-time winners of the OUAA championship.
Like myself.
And myself.
Yes.
that's crazy. Yeah, so you can tell that
Put
that's...
it somewhere we'll have
And
You
that's
can
back
tell
when
that
it was
there's a
tough.
direct correlation between that championship and long-term success in the sport.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, we can see how well that hurt Brent Lang and John
Line is
Morris
okay.
not winning that one.
You know what? Those guys are probably just right time, right place in their men's career. Probably a little bit more luck involved than they'd care to admit.
Yeah, Wolf Laurier having great success in men's and ladies, and now that it's a full CIS championship, that's where Laura Crocker, the aforementioned team from Laurier, is getting set for the World Championships coming up here in December. We wish them well, along with the Brendan Botcher rink out of the University of Alberta.
And Coach Morris Wilson, Laurier coach, very good friend of mine, former family member, great guy.
You don't
Aren't you guys from the days where it was more a
just
competition
fight the
about
T.
who could
Can't
drink
be
the most?
can't be more. If you're more, you gotta go
Believe
back.
me, we won that contest as well. True story.
And we still won the championship.
No.
We did get arrested after stealing a pot of coffee from Tim Hortons at 7 a.m. for an 8 o'clock game, but we were thirsty, and the cops understood. They let us off with a warning and let us have a double-double. Then we mopped up Queens in about 6 ends. All true stories, people.
Sorry about that. I'm gathering myself
You're actually
here.
in tears. You're so happy you're refreshing yourself with these memories. I'm sure the crowd is just loving to hear these stories. But we don't really have a whole lot of choice with a 6-1 game going on.
The thing about the crowd is that right now they have no choice.
No.
I mean, you could mute us. Please don't, because we'd like to think that you are listening. 6-1 here. Rob Fowler with a 5-point advantage over Team Cooey. Rob just selecting to hit an open one here and make it sit 2.
A lot of time you chuck this rock down there pretty hard. Robbie's throwing sort of more normal, or what they would call nice weight. Good shot.
So
That's hard, eh?
Take a dude.
You're going to see this thing come down. I'd like to get a stopwatch on this one because it is going to be down here fast.
getting the curlingzone.com stopwatch out. You will not see it on the screen. You'll have to take my word for it.
I love the Coup Dog. He's a great player. I think this is our last rock of the game, though, Paul.
You know, he makes us, Pete. Kevin does practice out of the Glencoe Club, where I get to hold the broom for a few times, and my only concern in life is when he is having a problem with runbacks and wants to practice them. I call it the groin pulling practice, because I have to catch the rocks, and I've seen him make more of these on his own.
Oh, yeah, he's just a sick hitter. Right? Probably the best hitter in the game. This one is
5-4. Yeah, it was
That'll be it.
handshakes. We do have the opportunity to switch sheets here. I don't know if the game beside us is still on, but we are paid by the hour, so Pete and I don't mind going to the
A
next
little
sheet.
extra.
Again, we want to congratulate Rob Fowler on their ace semi-win over Team Cooey here. They'll be moving on to play the winner of Team Alsrud versus Team Michelle, and getting ready for the pre-trials. They'll love to qualify here in Brooks, Alberta. 2 hours west of Calgary. A lot of the qualifiers head out to the Patricia Hotel to cook your own steak.
Yeah. Actually, Reed last year, he heard it was bring your own meat. He cooked some shrimp, if you know what I mean. It's a true story. Hats off to Robbie there. That's a really good win. Little unlucky for Cooey, but that takes nothing away from the performance of the Fowler team today. We wish them luck in their next game. And I don't think too many teams will be happy to see Kevin down in the B side.
No, not all, but that's this event. We are missing a couple of the big dogs this year, but there's still numerous extremely strong teams here. Our first game, we saw Pierce versus Murdoch. Murdoch lost that game, so not only do we have Kevin Cooey down the B side, we got David Murdoch. John Morris's team's down the B side as well, so it doesn't get easier as you lose games here.
We're going to win 8 out of 9 times. That's just the way it is, right? And we kept the momentum in that game. There was no momentum switch. In Portage, there was a
Robbie's
momentum
gonna wrap
switch
this
in the
one up
sixth
for us
end
if
when
you
I
listen
didn't
in.
nail the sixth end down. This game, we never let off the throttle. We kept the foot on the throat and we finished them.
Boys are giving themselves a little post-game pep talk there, a little pat on the back. Well-deserved after beating a team of Cooey's caliber.
Yeah, and then the momentum switches. Every time we're up like...
We've switched to a game with 8 people that I've never heard of, so I won't be able to have too much insight into the game outside of commentating on the shots. We have a A gentleman who looks like he could be Kevin Cooey's dad getting into the hack. Would this be Mr. Ness possibly, Jerry? Or
Brian Ness.
Brian Ness.
Went to the 81 Briar
81 Briar out of probably Quebec.
out of Quebec.
I have played Brian before. Back when I played with Paul Savage. Hopefully he threw it better back then than he does now, because I think they beat us. This one resembled that of sort of a Wednesday afternoon social league, but he did get the job done and remove the shot. Paul, you got any insight into the Beleski team here?
Well, they were at the Briar last year.
That would be, oh yeah.
Yes,
you know what?
remember-
I should apologize to these guys for some of the tweets I sent out about them last year, comparing them to club team. Probably was a little too generous in my statements, actually, when I think about it. But Brian Ness has now moved to Brooks, Alberta from Quebec. As Jerry just mentioned, he played in the 81 Briar out of Quebec. Doubt he won too many games.
So we don't have mics on these guys, but we'll watch. It's nice that we tuned into a 4-4 game here. 2 ends remaining. Beleski having hammer in less end. Looks like just scored 2, possibly Pete. Just sitting back down after a quick Pete Stesky break.
You're hitting on that blonde out there too?
No, I wonder why she's peeking her head in here. Pete Stesky for all those lady viewers out there, especially the ones in Brooks. Single man. Came to Brooks with a lonely heart.
Pretty fussy, though. Pretty fussy.
Yeah, pretty fussy.
Taking an inordinate amount of time to clean the slide path here and get this end started.
Yeah, with a very interesting cleaning path, the zigzag pattern.
The zigzag probably pushed more debris into the path than removed.
Yeah, so here we go. We have Scott Burton, the lead for...
I believe it's pronounced Burton.
Aaron Watson, actually, the lead for Team Beleski. I'm going to give them 2, so we're going to assume it's 6-4.
I assume this is a B-side matchup.
This is a,
If not, I want to play the teams that they beat in the A. Yeah.
Yeah, B-side matchup. They do get a drop from the A side.
Well, I believe, yeah, maybe Kevin knocked off Ness in the opening round, if that might be correct.
I think you're right. So 6-4 lead here for Andrew Beleski out of British Columbia. Throwing the first one in, Mr. Ness here is going to try to manufacture some points.
Now, Beleski winning last year, that's a huge opportunity to go to Le Briar. I'm sure they would have liked to have a better week, but what happened in that provincial? I mean, you get some good teams out of there. How did Cotter lose the final? Did he get that far?
You know what? I can't remember the actual scenario, but Jim Cotter now on Team Morris is definitely the perennial sort of heavyweight out of there, with Brent Pierce battling it, Sean Gill having teams, Jeff Richards having a team. So it might have just been one of those perfect storm scenarios where a lot of your top seeds didn't get out. I haven't watched Andrew play that much. I know a couple of those guys from the 4-foot curling camp there in Victoria. And Soyos when it was on. So it's nice to see some of the young guys getting out. Aaron Watson actually played with Greg McCauley.
Yeah, Greg's a great guy. Great guy to play if you're a young curler. Great guy to get mentored by. Greg is a top-notch player and a top-notch guy. Since retired from the sport. As most great players do.
So Aaron Watson again being called to come in here. Again, we weren't able to see the one rock with... the camera angle, but assuming it's a two-point lead here for Andrew Beleski.
Yeah, they're certainly playing the end as though they're up 2 points, that's for sure.
We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Great shots there by Aaron Watson. You couldn't have put him down in a better spot.
We're going for sort of a mid to late 80s, early 90s call here. We're going with the double corner guard. We're going
I
to
like
ignore
it.
the rocks and the rings. I like it. We're going old school. Got a text from, well,
Mark Kennedy helping us out with the broadcast, telling us that
and
thankfully
we'll read his text just so everyone knows. It says, Beleski only got 1 in 7. You degenerates. Knows the blank, ... Great shot. Thank you, Mark.
well, you know that we did not see the nose blank marker. We would have been all over that.
Because we can do the math. Not at all times, but in this situation we could.
Nice of Mark Kennedy to tune in after we've been.
Mark
You know-
probably being a hair critical too, just because he makes 100 peels out of 100. Guys at different levels, they don't always do that. Mark, you should be a little more tolerant of other people's misses. We got a tweet here from Ryan Fry. We started off slow with Lecoq, but eventually got up and then banged the rest of the game until the end. Very well done, Ryan.
Derek Arrington here. Looking for the intern guard. Great setup for Beleski so far.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good if you're Redstones. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about this on air, but there was heavy discussions this morning at breakfast about me possibly being the 7th or 8th man for Martin at the Olympic trials this year.
Why not? I couldn't think of a better 7th or 8th man, actually.
They've also considered dropping out of the trials if they can't find anybody else. There's
Mike
an old
Mandeville.
school slide there
It is
from
an old
Mikey.
school
I
slide,
like
but
it.
It looks like he's got the line for everything. Mike
What-
looking for the run back triple. A little bit of action there.
Whoa, he got them
Barely
all
missed
moving. If he could throw it as hard as Mark, he would have killed them all there. What kind of shoes are we featuring there on that gentleman sliding back? Those are the old curling classic?
We've got tweets coming in here. Sorry, text messages left, right, and center from the full front end of.
Yeah, one of
Team
my
Martin.
favorite people in the world here, Benny Hebert. He's the only reason I got here yesterday. Mark doesn't make 100% of his peels. He's starting to play like Reed. I don't know. I think Mark's capable of throwing an in-turn in and out turn, so I'm going to give him more credit than that. Although his play is probably starting to slip a little bit.
So we got rocks in play, which if Ness can make some sort of play in that one, the house is only going to help him out. Beleski playing a tricky game here if all the 3 rocks out front are going to be yellow soon.
Little something in Linda's book there. Tricky. One of her favorite words when describing how ladies continually miss shots.
Tricky, is it?
This guy looks like he's wearing moon boots on the left. I don't know what he's featuring there.
Might be a homemade set.
Wow, they're hoping for a little better action off of that stone. A little unlucky to stagger the guards there. Otherwise known as not properly reading the angle.
One of our local teams from Brooks here, skipped by Brian Ness, as we mentioned, a former Quebec skip in the Brier back in the 80s.
Looking forward to our next draw there. Team Martin, they take on Liu out of China.
Wow, I like that. It's a great matchup.
It's a good matchup. Benny said he would rather take on Wang. They feel more comfortable playing with Wang than they do Liu because they don't have as much experience playing Liu as they do playing with Wang, but they'll see what they can do. Still going in as a heavy favorite in that game, I would think.
I love the scouting reports you've done on the team speed. It adds a lot to the broadcast. Stephen Koff looking just to replace that guard.
That's his real name.
It is his real name. Steve Koff.
Have you ever wondered how, we have all these people on there, how come everyone has different names? Like if, there was Adam and Eve and that started out, like how did we get all these different names? What's going on there? Food for thought. We'll get back to that.
So I'm going to try to stick with the curling game here as Pete Stetsy gets philosophical in the left chair. He is only midway through his beverage intake here in Brooks, Alberta.
Midway.
Just to start. We're in the first inning for Pete, actually.
Also, I do not think a man is capable of building a boat and gathering up 40 animals and getting them on that boat. I don't think that happened.
So a great little hit and roll by Team Ness. A couple rocks out front. Beleski with pretty much the only choice he's going to have is looking at that guard unless he wants to go an extra end. He's been sticking with the guard. I think he might throw one more. Bingo.
Yeah, he's going to go with it. He's going to try to end the game right here. Two well-played guards, and he could be off to the bar with a victory in hand. He's got to be a little careful as Yellow has a second counter in the rings there, so they do have the opportunity to score 2. I'm not so sure there's not some form of angle on those two guards either.
Interesting stat about BC in the last 10 years, they'd actually send 9 different teams to the Brier.
How many of them had winning records?
I'm going to get the Twitterverse to send in that.
I will send the over-under, I will say, is 3.5.
Great guard there by Steve Koff on his last shot here in the 8th end. Beleski with a 1-point advantage. Ness with hammer trying to manufacture 2 points here, at least a single to go to the extra. Winner of this game stays in the B side. Loser goes to C, being their second straight loss.
Not so sure that guy wasn't a 1.5 feet over the hog line there.
No hog line handles here in Brooks, Alberta.
I gotta apologize.
Look at this.
Wait for it. Sweep it.
Sweep it, Nessie.
Sweeping.
And run back made.
There it is.
Team Ness line 1 with a mess of yellows out front. And Team Team Beleski with some interesting decisions here. So hit and roll is going to go for the shot rock.
We just heard from loyal follower Reed Carruthers. He's probably taking a little too much abuse. For those who tune into our broadcast regularly know we pick on Reed quite a bit. The man is a world champion, a Brier champion, Canada Cup champion, and multiple Grand Slam champion. So, Reader, everyone knows that you're fully capable of playing at the highest level, and you've increased your push-up count up to 50 after that devastating loss you had to that girl and the 14-year-old girl at the Guelph event this year. But little shout out to Reed there, trying to repair his ego.
Just to, in defense of Reed being a educator by profession, no doubt he was just trying to build the confidence of a young athlete and, helping develop young curlers. I really appreciate that, Reed.
Wow. And that's the type of guy Reed is. He would definitely do that to lift that young lady's spirits. Probably hit on her afterwards, but.
So Beleski making the hit and roll, jamming at the back. Now, lucky for him, the yellows in front overlapping, so there's really no play for Ness to get that red one unless he's going to play something finicky with, like an out-turn board weight. We just haven't seen that being too successful in the ice condition today.
No, I think that's tough. What's ironic about that is I don't think at any point in time they saw that jam, sort of ignored. Maybe they just knew.
Well, they knew they were making a perfect shot, Pete.
And that happens.
Jam aside.
We got another text from Benny here. Benny, little message. Reader, little message from Benny. Quit being soft. He wants you to man up.
Manning up is what Ben Hebert and a number of our top curlers did this year in the Men of Curling calendar. So all in support of multiple charities. So each curler that was in there gets to pick the charity of their choice to send their funds to. They're selling like hotcakes here in Brooks, Alberta. They're sending another box in, but the ladies of Brooks and the ladies of curling have really embraced the calendar, much like the Hans and Carter's calendar pick embraced him.
Yes, absolutely. I'd like to know where the face of that person is when they're posing for that shot. If you do the math there.
I never thought of that, Pete.
Yeah, you do the math there.
Pete does have his own copy, and I know he's had it for a few weeks, so I think he's...
Actually, I was fortunate enough to get a signed copy from Benny yesterday. It's always good to know what day of the month it is. Very much looking forward to October. or as Benny's friends on Twitter call it, October with a C.
Brian Ness with his first shot here in the 8th end, trying the out-turn draw through the port here. Curling. Just got to fully bury here and just try to keep it above the tee line if they can.
Yeah, it's a little deep.
Little deep, but he's going to be shot rocks. He's going to make Beleski shoot at it. See the difference in ice that Beleski's taking versus Brian.
He picked up on that. Lefty-righty matchup there, maybe?
Maybe, or just more of a club release versus a curly, sort of a positive release. So, but putting the pressure on the young skip. So,
speaking of club releases, Paul, we just have a tweet from George Carey's text. He's talking, he's defending Reed. Reed, you got a defender in George Carey's there. He's giving a shout out to you and one of my favorites, Caitlin Laws, and all the work you do in Manitoba and the rural areas and the community there, teaching kids how to throw the out turn. Big shot here, Paul.
Yeah, this is pretty much for the game here, and Andrew just needs to follow Brian in. Brian will follow him in, hopefully, and we'll go with an extra end and give you a little extra value for your tuning in to curlingzone.com.
One thing I've found over the years in curling, you got to be very careful of who you follow in.
So Andrew looking really good here. Same path as Brian was coming down, so he'll sit on top of that one, and Brian will have to make the same shot.
Get us to an extra.
To go to an extra end. So great shot by Andrew Beleski. Had the force in play pretty much the entire game. Last shot for the hometown crowd favorite, Brian Ness.
Do you think he is a crowd favorite? I don't hear much applause. I mean,
we're upstairs in a booth, Pete. Not even close to the crowd.
That's true. That's a good point, Paul. That's why you're here. Talking about the curling calendar, for those who can't purchase it in person, it can be purchased at menofcurling.com. menofcurling.com. Feel free to tweet in who your favorite pick is. Personally, I was very upset to see that Ryan Gosling Jr., Mark Kennedy, and his comb-over were not in the calendar. He's one of my favorites.
It's too bad. I saw some of the family pics that Mark had on Facebook, and he would have fit right in.
He would have been a great centerfold, I feel, and they really missed out on an opportunity there to have a multiple Brier winner and Olympic gold medalist. We should
Last
get back
shot
to the
here
shot.
for Brian Ness. It is a pivotal shot here in the 8th end. Brian Ness trying to draw a full 4-foot against Andrew Beleski. Looks like he's got the line, and the sweeper's taking him to the full 4. We will be going to an extra end here in this B-side mashup. Ness versus Beleski. Beleski having the hammer in the extra end. And I'll turn over to you, Pete. Go ahead. Calendar talk.
Calendar talk. Well, I mean, Mark is obviously, he's a miss. Having leafed through mine numerous times, I got to say I'm quite disappointed in the Northern Ontario photos. I was hoping to see more of EJ and less of Brad Jacobs. But, EJ is ripped like a Calvin Klein model, and he was probably a little conservative in his shot. Craig Saville had a great shot that he wanted to submit, but it was refused for various reasons, two of which were length and girth, I heard, but you can't confirm that. He went a little conservative on his photo.
5 of the months here in Brooks, Alberta, competing. Do you want to name those 5 athletes?
I will try. I will go with Nicholas Adine, Thomas Photoshopped Osrud, Benny Hebert, Mike I Wear Women's Underwear McEwen, and David Murdoch.
We might actually have 6. You
who did I miss?
The firefighting curler, John Morris.
Oh, Johnny Moe. A lot of ladies out there. That's her favorite pick.
So there's no better spot than the Brooks Curling Club here this weekend to get your calendar signed. Find your calendar month and get him to sign his photo, and raising money for great charities.
Yeah, it's interesting. All the guys pick different charities that probably affected their lives in one way or another. I know Mike McEwen, I don't have the notes in front of me, but I believe he chose a charity for helping prevent premature release. I know it's something Mike's probably battled most of his life, and he wants to help others. He mentioned, I can't verify. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but good to see Mike helping out other men that have had similar problems.
First rock of this 8th end by Team Ness. They got the center guard up, a little light and over curl, but it's in play, which is great. And it gives them a chance to put some rocks in play. Beleski's nerves might be in play.
Do you think they know they're on live broadcast right now?
No.
How much pressure would that add, for our 800 followers?
Brian Ness going for the textbook second guard, bring a little bit tighter.
Now, it's been a while since I played, Paul. On that intern come around there with the redstone, would you have tried to keep that higher in the rings maybe? Are you hoping that that's going to be your winning point?
No, your normal play there would be, top 4 foot if you're going to put it in the rings, for sure.
Here we got Moonboots. Look at that handshake release there, Paul. That's something that you've been known to teach back in the day there. Good form.
Oh, you know what? Nothing says curling like good form. But this young team, looks like Brian Ness has grabbed a few youngsters and brought them into this event, which is great to see. And, nerves do come into play with these players. It's a big event for them. They're playing with some of their heroes and sheets beside them. And this is a little long for just a center guard.
Yeah, all joking aside, I mean, these guys look fairly young and maybe a little inexperienced, but to play in an event of this magnitude with the quality of competition there is, it's excellent. Brian's obviously a veteran. He's been playing the game for probably 40 years, and he's always been known to play with younger guys and bring them along. He did that in Quebec. Dale Ness actually got his start. I believe Brian might be Dale's uncle. Dale was a great player, lost two consecutive Brier finals playing for Guy Hemmings. Guy now very active in the broadcast world for, I believe, French TSN.
Yeah, RDS.
Yeah, I didn't know the technical term, but thanks for helping me out there, bud.
That's what I'm here for. So the hit completed by Team Beleski. Brian Ness knowing the only way he's going to win this end and steal the win from Beleski is to get some guards in play, so he's going to throw the center guard again. A little bit of a cat and mouse game coming up. Call from the front end is it's hot, so they're not wanting to sweep this one. Trying to put this anywhere out front on the center line. Might sneak in there to a tap freeze or something. Nerves playing a part for Team Ness here. They're struggling to make a shot, letting Team Beleski off the hook and taking the nerves off them after their first rock went to the back 12 foot.
Speaking of nerves, Paul, how nervous were you when you came in to do the broadcast today?
You have no idea, Pete. My biggest concern with Pete Stetsky is that 90%
I prefer if you don't use my last name.
Yeah, me too, actually. Just Paul. And yeah, I can't get into it. Beleski not getting sharked into rocks and play, just playing the hit on this one. Like to get some sort of roll. Don't want to leave a pocket there. But they might just do that. And there's the pocket.
Yeah, that's not an ideal spot to leave that stone.
There's opportunity there just to chuck some heat. They don't need rocks in play right now. But they decided to play something a little bit downboard weight.
Yeah, I was surprised they threw that soft as they did, actually. But again, I'm back here. They're out there, so whatever.
Brian Ness wasting no time, want to get a play on those rocks, so asking his second to...
There's an old school sort of. That's a quasi-toe, quasi-knee slide there.
It is his.
It's a bit of both.
It is his slide, yeah. So the boys looking for the same type of weight they just had, just an intern freeze. Trying to put it right in the middle of those two red stones.
Got another pair of white socks out on the ice. White sock alert. Might be a good opportunity to maybe head down to Winners, buy some black socks, hand them out.
So great opportunity missed there by Team Ness. Could have been even a little bit short, but bounce that back, letting Beleski off the hook a bit. I'm hopeful that Andrew will just throw a peel and get some rocks out of play.
Reader's claiming he's getting beaked a little too hard by the booth here, Paul, so I'd appreciate it if you'd calm down on Reed.
I'm trying, Reed. I'm trying to help you out. Intern looks like board weight again for Beleski's team. Looking for the hit and roll, I assume, but rolling out is not that bad. They're loving the rocks, keeping in the rings.
It's almost like they're trying to keep their rocks in play enough. Is there some form of point spread in this game they're trying to cover? What's going on here? Have you ever scored an 8-ender, Paulie?
I have once, yeah, back in university. Just playing around, but nothing serious, no big events. We had one scored in our ladies club league at the Glencoe Club last year by Team Patrick. A shout out to Lorraine and the girls.
Well done, Lorraine. Well done. She hot? Can't comment on that. You work there, sorry.
She is a
you can tell me off the air.
phenomenal lady. One of the top supporters of curling in our club. Here is the intern freeze tap again for Team Ness. Again, they've got some options. They don't have any guards in play, but they do have 3 red rocks that are in the rings. One just top 4-foot they can play around with and try to generate some backing or freeze opportunities. They're going for the guard, actually.
Yeah, straight guard. Not a bad play.
So Andrew's playing a slightly different end here. You might see him actually draw in.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking? He might do that. Looks like he's going to peel, but
he's gonna
I was
peel
with
this
you.
one.
I thought he might do that as well. It's been somewhat unconventional, so I thought he might
This
go
takes away the 8-ender. Steve Koff being asked for the intern peel. Looks successful.
there. Yeah, good shot there. Good news about those 3 red rocks in the house. I don't think we have to worry about going double extra in here. That's not in our contract.
No, we don't do the 10th end, 8-end games. So Mr. Ness asking for the other guard. You'll probably see him come in on that one on his last one, no doubt. He doesn't have too many great scoring chances here, but rocks are in play. Of course, now he's coming in.
Yeah, they keep fooling us, bud? You don't know. It's hard to tell.
So overcurled a bit. Andrew can just peel that one out.
It's not looking like there's going to be too many great options for Mr. Ness. That guard that is in play is so high. It's almost as if it's not in play. Very tough to hide anything behind it. Nice little intern peel coming down here.
Great shot by Steve Koff, his last one here in the 9th and extra end of this B-side game here in Brooks, Alberta. Pete Stetsky and Paul Webster here at the Cactus Pheasant Classic. Trying to figure out who's going to keep themselves in the B-side and who might slip down to the early C-side position.
If you're in the area, please come down, support the club, support the players, support the charity calendar. A lot going on. We got some live band action, I think, happening Friday and Saturday nights. Paul, you said you might do some karaoke.
Always.
What's your best ballad? What do you do? What would your go-to song be in karaoke?
I don't mind Johnny Cash. I always figure, there's some classic songs there, but you don't really have to sing that much, right? You just need to carry a tune.
Exactly.
It's just sort of a drawling sentence sort of thing. And
you get a little drunk slur going and you're good to go there, basically.
yeah, if I was drinking, that's correct.
I don't mean right now. I'm saying if you were to do it.
Brian Ness with his first rock here in the extra end. Trying to create some magic here.
He's probably got to tap this one back. Freeze, again, it's not going to do too much for him. He needs to maybe create some backing for himself.
Yeah, his rocks have been curling a little bit more than his
Might
teammates.
be the fact that it still has not had one rotation yet.
Calling the audible. Just going to go for the straight draw. Hopefully sitting second shot. Might be a little too heavy.
Yeah, that rock's not going to be overly useful. What'd you do here, Paul?
Well, Andrew could simply just peel that one out in the top 4 foot, and he won't have that tough of a shot. He'll have a shot to the open 4. Last thing you want to do is put up any sort of guard on play and not put in the right spot.
And what do they call?
Right? I mean, you'll see those teams. It's kind of one of those funny things. You don't expect to miss. Sometimes it's hard to skip against that miss. So Brian, completely missing that freeze tap makes him think a little bit. But Andrew, having been at the Briar, he understands the importance of draw weight, and draw to the full 4 is not bad. I don't mind the freeze that Steven's talking about there, but
Yeah.
the last thing these boys need is more rocks in play, really.
You certainly don't want to hang this high short over curls. They make a little flip behind, and all of a sudden you lose the game.
Especially when you get a rock magician like Brian Ness. It looks like he can get a little more curl out of these rocks than the other guys, and I don't think you'll see him miss that shot twice. So Andrew Beleski out of British Columbia here with his last shot his first shot in the extra end. Sitting 3 points right now, needing 1 for the win.
As we mentioned, our next draw, we have 2 of the best teams in BC going head-to-head. John Morris and Jim Cotter and Team John Morris going against Dean Jonice. I believe Dean also calls a game and has someone else throwing 4 stones. In their first game there, wow, yeah. That's just a really unfortunate shot there, Paul. I mean, in the end, it probably won't hurt them, but...
Yeah, he was on the right side of the miss there, getting on the nose. They're still looking okay, but all Brian needs to do is tap this 4 feet, and then, Andrew will only have appeal to look for the win, but he's got lots of backing. So he's got to be aware of what's back there and not to jam.
Maybe through that, he's such a good position. He might have got a little careless with that stone, not sure, but... Yeah, saying Janice, I believe he calls a game and throws 3rd stones, and the guy who throws 4th stones for them had probably a half to 3/4, probably 60% of a rock double to win his last game against Laycock, and unfortunately he fanned it by half a rock with peel. So I'm looking for John Morris to maybe win that game tonight.
Yeah, the 4th thrower on that team being Michael Johnson. Looks like he was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
He's a curler. That's shocking.
Yeah, amazing. I bet he has a corn broom. Dean Jonice, the curling artist, out of artofcurling.com. If you need your curling club championship awards or Bonspiel awards, a great website to go to get some artwork.
Is Dean the man behind on Twitter there that those funky little photos? Curling pictures.
Oh, the funky little photos on Twitter.
Curlingpictures.com. They're the type of artwork.
I don't know.
I hope not, because that's the type of stuff you'd put up in a 1970s wood-paneled basement with a velour couch.
We'll go back to our broadcast here. Brian Ness looking to put some pressure on the young Beleski team out of British Columbia, looking for an intern tap back. Line is looking good. Got to bump that back about 4 feet for shot rock.
Just curl
And
here.
look at this.
Split it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Ness.
Good shot there, Brian.
It's as good as he could do with that rock.
Barely lies shot rock.
Now,
Anywhere
Andrew.
high, though, and
just make it go away.
yeah.
Outturn heat here from Andrew Beleski.
Just make it go away. You want to do that, go out to a bar with Daryl Preble at last call and have him talk to the girls. It happens pretty fast. Guy's got no skills.
Again, send your questions to @XLPurpleSweater.
Is this mic on?
Last shot here in this B-side game in Brooks, Alberta, Cactus Pheasant Classic. Andrew Beleski, outturn heat to win the game.
Turn heat, otherwise known as good board.
The right off coming from Steve Koff. Looks like he's got a piece, and that's all he needs. Congratulations to Team Beleski on their win, staying alive in the B-side. Team Ness unfortunately slides down to C.
They should measure for 3 there. Gertzy's looking for us to update the final score, 3-ender.
Yeah, we put 3 down, but it didn't say we didn't have the 9th end on there in Jerry Gertz. So the final score is 8-5 for Beleski. You can check all your scores at worldcurl.com or curlingzone.com. We will see you later.